What does it do, you two? Welcome back to another episode of Scotty Says I Am Your Host. And, well, I've been trying to tell you, haven't I? I've been calling out from the outskirts of the city. I've been the lone voice crying out for balance and discipline from the play-calling head coach of the LA Rams. And it's pretty much been a lonely road I've trod. And yet I've been here for years now, episode after episode. 73, 77, 81, episode 82, calling out for balance from the coach of the Rams. And up until now, my cries have landed on deaf ears. And so, did you see what I saw in the last game the Rams played against the Arizona Cardinals from the Haunted Palace in Inglewood known as SoFi? Did you see the Cardinals-Rams game on Sunday? Exhibit A. I've been coming here for years now, presenting my case why the success of the Rams is incumbent upon discipline and balance and control of the chronic condition that plagues our coach, Pashapius, and I identified it here and I shared it with you. That is the key to success for this team. And so there have been so many lessons, my folks, from the first 5 games up until now, game 6. So many lessons. And regrettably, they have gone unheeded. And so time and again, we find ourselves back in the same place, doing the same thing, expecting a different outcome, like we're in the Twilight Zone. And yet the evidence is so stark, so overwhelming, so clear that it makes me wonder, how can it not be heeded? How can it be ignored? And so this episode is going to be jam-packed. It's going to be a doozy. We got a lot to get to, and so we're going to have to get right to it, because once again, on the heels of the lessons from the Philadelphia Eagles loss, on the heels prior to that of the lessons from Indianapolis and Shane Steichen, and then before that, the Cincinnati Stanker, and prior to that, Father Shanahan. The lessons have been numerous and have been incontrovertible. And yet, Coach McWonder has chosen stubbornly, obstinately, recklessly, dangerously, he has chosen to ignore them to this point. And really, the fate of the Rams season now in 2023 in the Deuce Tray, the fate of the season for this team now rests on a very simple premise. Will the play caller employ balance? Or will the Rams fall to ruin? Well, I present to you episode 83, ladies and gentlemen, and yet another case study, another exhibit in support of my contentions that the coach of the Rams suffers from past happiness. He is essentially Dr. McGenius and Mr. McWonder. Dr. McGenius, brilliant play caller, designer of magnificent routes, schemes, you understand. Oh, schemes aplenty, schemes that are the talk of the NFL. That's Dr. McGenius. But then inhabiting the same little body is the other guy, the alter ego, Mr. McWonder. And Mr. McWonder, well, he makes you wonder. Mr. McWonder will make you scratch your dome. Mr. McWonder does peculiar, perplexing things, employs inexplicable logic, if you could call it that, ignores data and chooses to go down a perilous route. Mr. McWonder flirts with ruin, self-sabotage, and so in one body you have Dr. McGenius and Mr. McWonder fighting it out, yin and yang, all in the same head. You see, past happiness. And so, tonight I give you a brief story time. Oh, I hear you now cheering with delight. I know it's been a long time, boys and girls, since I've brought you story time. And so I give you tonight story time, a cautionary tale. I call it a tale of two halves. Welcome, my folks, to story time. You know, once before, long ago, in a place not so very far away, there was another genius, another offensive mastermind, a brilliant football guru, you understand, a savant, a prodigy in the ways of beautiful routes. Yes, schemes. A prolific designer of plays and routes and schemes. Yes, this play calling guru started as an offensive coordinator for the St. Louis Rams way back in the day. Back in 1999. And in 1999, the St. Louis Rams were a moribund franchise, inept and aimlessly going nowhere. And then, just a couple years before, they had hired an old school coach by the name of Dick Vermeil, the weeping coach. And Dick brought Well, he brought toughness and old school discipline and a little bit of rebellion, but what Dick also brought in 1999 was the quarterback's coach of the Washington Slurs. And his name was Mike Martz. I came to call him disaffectionately the Madman, Mike the Maniac Martz. Oh, but his offenses were beautiful. They were sights to behold. They even acquired a nickname, the greatest show on turf. Yes, Mike Martz designed that exquisite offense, and he had weapons. He had groceries, Kurt Warner, and he had Marshall Faulk, and he had all those wideouts, Zahir Hakeem. He had Torrey Holt and Isaac Bruce, Reverend Ike. He had tight ends, and he had Dick Vermeil did. He had a pretty tough defense. And in 1999, they added to the mix a quarterback by the name of Trent Green. And Trent Green was going to be the missing piece until Rodney Harrison, yes, that same one, came around the end in a preseason game and blew Trent Green's knee out. Oh, no. Yes. And who will ever forget Reverend Ike slamming the turf like, oh, darn, because as a reverend, he probably just said, darn. And the backup quarterback was a grocery stocking, arena football touring, undrafted guy by the name of Kurt. And Kurt Warner would go on to lead the 1999 Rams to a Super Bowl championship. And the next year, Mike Martz would be elevated to head coach of the Rams. And his offensive displays were going to be on full blast for the world to see. But something happened along the way after that first Super Bowl and Mike Martz's elevation to head coach. Mike the Maniac seemed to get a little unhinged, kind of. And he started to stop paying attention to some very important fundamental principles like balance. He started to eschew, abandon, ignore the run game, even though he had a Hall of Fame running back in the backfield. Yes, does it sound even a little bit familiar? And when this high-flying, high-powered offense went back to its second Super Bowl in 3 years, now with Mike the Maniac as head coach, they were 14.5-point favorites. And they lost to Bill Belichick and a kid named Brady. And Brady would go on to win another 7. And Belichick would become heralded as the greatest coach of all time. Well, I don't know about that, but, maybe. And Mike Martz would go on to cause battering to his quarterback with these long developing routes and poor pass protection and no balance, and Kurt Warner would get hurt and then ultimately traded, and Mike Martz would never sniff another Super Bowl. I believe he ended up with some type of heart trouble, clashed with the front office, and it deteriorated. It fell apart. All that promise all those weapons, all those beautiful schemes. He only got the one championship to show for all of that. The greatest show on turf for all of it. Only one championship. And so, my folks, this is a cautionary tale, you see, because Mr. McWonder has one championship. But you don't want to follow in the footsteps of the maniac. And so you must remember foundational principles, Mr. McGenius. You must remember balance, running the ball. I spent an hour in episode 82 talking about just these very things. Please go back and check it out if you haven't seen it yet. And like the video, that one and this one. And please subscribe if you haven't already. And so, Sean, the boy wonder McVay, head coach of the Rams, has been given carte blanche by the city. So young, he won it all, you see. At such a young, tender age, he turned the franchise around. They came back from St. Louis, and now they are LA champions, and he's the toast of the town. And so no one dares to point out the obvious. No one dares to criticize the boy genius. No one except I'll do it. I'll do it because it needs to be done. Because it's right to do. Because it's the truth, you see. When the Los Angeles Rams run the ball, and I've been saying this over and over and over. Wasn't I right, my folks? Did you see the game on Sunday against the Cardinals? When the Rams run the ball, they can beat anybody. When McGenius goes into best happiest mode, when he won't commit to foundational principles of balance, when he Motown slides, back slides, then, my folks, any team in the NFL is subject to beat the Rams on any given Sunday. And so the key, as I have said over and over and over, is in balance and in employing a power run game to offset your past happiest tendencies. That's the way to do it. That's the recipe. And so we've seen Father Shanahan come to town with them damn Niners. And he ran the ball 25 times. And he passed the ball 25 times. And they whooped him good again for the 9th consecutive time in a row. While he, Mr. McGenius, while he threw the ball 55 times and ran it 17, you see. Do you see the lesson from Father Shanahan? He beats him every time because he always employs patience, balance, discipline. He employs the run game. And he whoops him every time. And yet he doesn't see it. And so I tried to help. I've been calling out from the outskirts of the city. Mr. McWonder, I know what you need to do. I've got the solution. I can help you beat him. All you got to do is follow a simple principle that I created. I called it the 25-20 principle. I sent it to him via YouTube. All you've got to do, I told him, was run the ball a minimum of 20 times, 20 carries minimum, and cap your pass attempts at 25. I know it's hard. I know it's not easy. Nothing worthwhile is easy. McGenius. But if you just do that, I told him, I guaranteed it to him. I promised him, if you just do that, you will win and win and win and win again and keep winning. I told him. And he wouldn't listen, you see, because he's stubborn. He's obstinate. Oh, McGenius, he's extraordinarily obstinate. And so he was determined to do it his way, to chuck the ball all around the yard. Aerial show every game. Chuck it, chuck it, chuck it. But see, by doing that, you usher out an invitation, because we've learned the palace is haunted. And if you invite the poltergeist in, he will come. And so the 25-20 principle employs foundational concepts of balance, and it also serves to restrain the poltergeist. And so I've tried to help Mr. McWonder. And so it is all the more troubling when I see time after time the lessons are ignored. After the San Francisco game came the Cincinnati game. And what were the lessons from the Cincinnati game? Well, I told you several episodes back. I outlined it. In game analysis, I went through it. Mr. McWonder refused to run in the red zone. Refused to do it. He'd not hear of it. They put up field goals instead of touchdowns. They were out of balance yet again, and they laid a stinking clunker, and they got whooped in Cincinnati by a team that's not that good. What were the lessons from Indianapolis? We saw the first example this season of a tale of two halves in Indy. Except the Indy game was the polar opposite of this past game against the Cardinals. Because in the Indy game, Mr. McGenius ran like a madman, a fiend, a hound. He ran the ball so well and aggressively in the first half. Such outstanding balance, and he ran out to a commanding 23-0 lead, and then he got carried away with himself. He got excited. He said, I got a 23-0 lead. I don't need to protect the ball or eat the clock or grind out the game. No, it's time to chuck it. Oh, so foolish. So foolish. And he almost paid the ultimate NFL price. He almost lost that game. It went to overtime from 23-0 in the third quarter. He had to go to overtime. He needed a coin call from his son Stoney to give the Rams the ball first, and they would score a touchdown and snatch that victory from the jaws of defeat. But then they turn around in this game, in the Cardinal game, and it's the exact opposite, you see. This time, Mr. McGenius elects to not run in the first half at all. Not at all. I don't believe I'll run at all in the first half. I'll just chuck it. He's chucking it all over the yard, getting nowhere fast, putting up a couple of field goals in the first half. Time of possession, wildly out of balance, 20 plus minutes. Arizona, 9 minutes. LA. 3 rushing attempts in the first half. 3. for 5 measly yards, and he got those 5 yards on the very first carry of the very first snap of the game. And then only ran 2 more times in the first half after that. He has Passapius. He has a condition. You have to understand this, my folks. Your coach is unbalanced. That's who he is. And he has to rein himself in. He has to keep himself in check. He has to stay in treatment. Otherwise, he's subject to have a conniption at any moment. And if he does, he'll go all Passapius on you. And you saw what the outcome would be in that first half. Abject futility, failure, getting nowhere fast, getting your quarterback pounded. You've got your offensive line on skates, sir. Moonwalking in pass protection. I spent a good amount of time in a segment I called O-Line Talk, and I outlined to you the very distinct difference between pass blocking and run blocking, and why you want your O-line to be aggressive, charging off the line of scrimmage, not dropping back, moonwalking, backpedaling. Shimon. So, this is all ground that's been covered, my folks. And yet, here we are again. And we are witnessing the same damn behavior despite all those lessons. When the Rams run the ball and are in balance, they win. When they don't, they are very likely to lose. It really comes down to just that simple of a proposition. I've said the other coaches around the league understand that Mr. McWonder has a condition. And so they know all they've got to do is stay disciplined, balanced. Then he'll connip and then he'll Motown backslide. And they'll get him. Father knows this. Father Shanahan knows this oh so well. He wrote the book, you see. And the book has been circulated all around the NFL. And so Shane Steichen has read the book. And now this guy, this new first-year coach of the Cardinals, Jonathan Gannon, well, I'm pretty sure he has a copy of the book too. And so I have said all this to say, Mr. McWonder, the data is indisputable. The conclusions are incontrovertible. The evidence is overwhelming. Accept the reality. You must run the ball. You must remain in balance to achieve any type of success this year. I'm crying out from the outskirts of the city. Heed the lesson of the Arizona Cardinals game. Heed the lesson this time. So I have waxed philosophical long enough. It is time, my folks, to get to game analysis. And we got a lot to go through, so I'm going to try and speed along through it because the primary points have been made, and you saw what I saw, didn't you? So let's get right to it. Now, inactives. Inactives for the game on Sunday. Well, note go boom is note go out. So we do have a little bit of that O-line shuffle action going on. And so we have Dotson. Yes, Mr. Dotson is inserted into the O-line mix in place of Note Go Boom. And so you have Alaric Jackson at left tackle, that all-important left tackle spot. You have Avila at left guard, Shelton at center. You have Dotson at right guard, and Staple at right tackle, Havenstein. And Havenstein gave us some very interesting sounds, some quotes in the post game, and so I'll be quoting Mr. Havenstein a little bit later after we get through game analysis. So, beyond that now, other missing persons of note. Stoney is missing. Well, let me say this now. Now, I tease the stone-handed one, and it's all in good fun. But Stoney, I understand, is out for the season. That's right, sayonara, Stoney. Stoney out for the season with a calf injury. And so, I'm sure that caused Mr. McWonder great dismay to see his main man, the stone-handed one, his son Stoney, out for the season. But never fear, Mr. McWonder has already identified a replacement relative to put on the team, and he's got him returning punts. We'll get back to him a little later. And then one other missing person of note, the imaginary 2 Chainz, Van Jefferson, gone, sent away, traded for a ham sandwich. They traded Van Jefferson for, they exchanged late round draft picks. And I forget, where did they go? Where did they send him? To Atlanta. Van Jefferson went to Atlanta. And it was for, they said, hey, we'll give you a 5th rounder. You give us Van Jefferson and your 6th rounder. A ham sandwich, my folks. And so the imaginary is no more. And so, having said all that, into the action we go. Now, Arizona started out on offense, and of course they have the scientist, Mr. Dobbs, quarterback. Of course, he's filling in for the diminutive one, Kyler Murray, and right away you see yet again that next level new wave quarterback, where not only can they throw the ball downfield and hand the ball off, but they have that added dimension of being able to gain yards on the ground. And so Mr. Dobbs led the Cardinals on their initial drive into field goal range, 3-0 Arizona, and the Rams are taking over on offense. You're thinking, now, based off what we saw with Philadelphia last week and his abandonment of the run game yet again, I'm thinking I want to see early signs that McGenius is heeding the lessons and he will run the ball. And the first play of the Rams' first offensive possession is, in fact, a handoff to Kyren Williams. And I'm thinking, yes, that's a good sign. 5 yards to Will to crank this thing off. And of course, McGenius is out there in 11 personnel. He's got the 5 offensive linemen that I've already mentioned. We've got to give props to the tight end, Higbee, who does yeoman work in the run game when it is employed, of course. And your 3 wideouts, the wideout stew of Soup, Puka, and Tutu. Soup, Puka, and Tutu. Matty from the D under center. Will takes the first play of the first possession on offense for the Rams. 5-yard gain. That is the last yard they would gain on the ground in the first half. The Rams would not gain another yard on the ground in the first half. In fact, even more troubling than that, they would only carry the ball twice more. A grand total, my folks, of 3 run plays in the first half. 3 runs, 5 yards. And so, if they're not running the ball, what are they doing, you think? Chucking it all around the yard. And they're not getting very far. By the time the half ends, they've put up 2 field goals. They have 6 points. 3 rushes, 5 ground yards, 6 points. And it's been a first half of abject futility. So just as an example, it's 2nd and 5 after that opening 5-yard carry by K. Will. And Matty goes over the top. Soup, 15 yards, first down. 1st and 10. Matty throwing again. And Arizona is blitzing. And Matty has to throw it away. 2nd and 10. Now, him and Soup are not on the same page. And the pass falls incomplete. And Soup gets walloped. 3rd and 10. It's a little check down, short of the sticks. And LA has to punt. The first opening drive punt of the season. You started that drive off with a 5-yard run. And you didn't go back to it not once. And now you're punting. Heed the lessons. And so now the Cardinals are employing a nice blend of run and pass on their second possession. But on a 3rd and 2, Jonathan Gannon pulled a McWonder. And instead of running the ball, which he should have, he takes a sack. And that sack forces the Cardinals out of field goal range. That was a blunder. And Arizona has to punt. And who is that returning punts for the Rams? Wait a second. Whoever that is, he just broke one off with a nice little move to the outside, down the sideline, big yards. Who is that? Trammell. Who is that? We'll get back to him. Turns out, I'm thinking maybe that's Stoney's replacement. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, so now LA from their own 41. McGenius, of course, throwing Puka for 6. And then to Soup, complete for a big gain of 38 yards. Soup getting loose. And then another dart, this time with mustard on it, with steam. And it's to Puka in the end zone, but incomplete. Puka can't pull it down. He can't pull it in. He should have caught that one. 3rd and 10 now, but wait. There's a defensive holding penalty. Fresh set it down. 1st and 10, and it's from the LA 11. And what do I see? It's 1st and 10 from the 11, and McGenius is in the empty shotgun, and K. Will is down at the bottom of the formation running a route, and it is absolutely no even hint of a run. 1st and 10, you're just outside of a 1st and goal. Run the ball, Mr. McWonder, but no, McGenius throwing. He throws. It's for Puka, and it's incomplete. It's off. It's not really close. And then 2nd and 10, he's throwing again, and it's for Soup, and that's off. And Soup rolls his ankle trying to come down with it, and then he's throwing again. It's 3rd and 10, and I don't know who he's throwing to. Matty from the D threw this one out of the back of the end zone, up the tunnel, going towards the Rams locker room. He threw it out the stadium. I don't know what that was supposed to be. 1st and 10, from the 10, just about the 10, and you throw incomplete. 3 straight passes. Who is the real Brett Maher comes on to kick the field goal. You see, McWonder is not heeding the lessons of Cincinnati. He's still not running the ball in the red zone. And so as the first quarter comes to a close, you know what I'm thinking, my folks? It's the same old stuff, just a different day with McWonder. He refuses to employ balance. Then I keep thinking, once again, you're wildly out of balance. Once again, you abandon the run game. Once again, you got your O-line on skates, moonwalking, dancing machine. Watch them get down. Watch them get down with the doot, backing up. And I'm like, McWonder is refusing to pay attention to the lessons. He's refusing to pay attention to my messages. I've been imploring balance, and yet he just doesn't want to do it. And so his past happiness is flaring wildly. He's sick with it. And so Arizona gets the ball, and it's 2nd and 5 around midfield. And who is that flashing? AD 99, the beast flashes, and he sacks the scientist. Down goes the scientist. Whipsaw, slam, dunk scientist into the SoFi turf. Graze in position. Eat some turf, scientist. Arizona ends up having to punt. And now, the punt returner, it's this guy. It's Trammell. Trammell hit, ball out. Oh, fumble, Ruski. Who is this guy? I'm like, hold it. Who is this? So I do my quick research. Trammell. Oh, an undrafted free agent. Where'd they get him from? The Falcons or somewhere? An undrafted free agent from the Falcons or the Texans or somebody. And right in that McGenius wheelhouse. Right? Undrafted, discounted. They remind him of himself, you see. Now he's got Stoney's replacement. He's got Trammell? Yeah. Arizona does recover. And so they would go on to convert that turnover into points. 6-3 Arizona. And they are killing LA in total plays and in time of possession. What I've been preaching about. What I've been imploring. Balance. BALANCE. But Mr. McWonder, foolishly, recklessly, wildly scoffs at balance. Mr. McWonder is repulsed by balance, I believe. I believe balance disgusts Mr. McWonder. He has revulsion for balance. And so at this point in the game, now, into the second quarter, McGenius has run 10 plays, 9 of which are passes, 9 of 10 chucks. You see? Chuck. That's what he likes. That's really what he wants. Wildly out of balance. Woob. Mr. McGenius is a woob. Wildly out of balance. Wooby. It's no wonder he's had so much trouble with running backs in the past. It occurs to me. It's no wonder he clashes with running backs who expect to actually run the ball. Because Mr. McGenius wants his running backs to be pass blockers and route runners and taking a handoff is a distant afterthought for McWonder. And so, that's 10 consecutive passes now McWonder has thrown until finally, mercifully, he hands the ball off to Rivers for a couple of yards. And I'm in complete and utter despair. 3rd and 5, and Matty is in the shotgun, and I know, and you know, and Arizona knows, and everybody at SoFi knows. We all know that McGenius is dialed up yet another pass play, and Arizona, well, they're showing blitz, but then they back out of it and just rush 4, and, well, Kaiser White flashes and gets hold of Matty from the D and whipsaws him almost like in retaliation for what AD99 the Beast did to the scientist, and he spins Matty from the D and whipsaws him, slam dunks him into the turf, grazing position, feast on some SoFi turf. Matty from the D absorbing punishment. Chuck, 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 chuck. And the old line is just on skates every snap. Drop back, moonwalk. Pass, 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 pass the machine. Watch him get down. He's a pass the machine. He is pass habeas. He is Wooby. That's when I realized, man, the coach of the Cardinals, Gannon, he read Father Shanahan's book on McGenius. He knows. Well, we all know the man has a condition. And he's feasting his defensive line. They're feasting because they got the Rams O-line on roller skates. And, I mean, it's just an amazing thing to see because Arizona, they just keep on running. They are content to employ balance and discipline and patience and just keep running. And let McGenius self-destruct himself right into that L. L's and dubs. Which will it be? And so now we're down to the 2-minute warning. 2 minutes left in the half. Back to the ground. And he's forcing McGenius to eat up his timeouts. And so with no timeouts left, finally, Arizona kicks that field goal. And they go up 9-3. You know, it's all in the numbers. You could see plain as day what's happening here. And so it's 9-3 Arizona with there's only 43 seconds left before halftime. And, well, of course, you might as well chuck it. You've been chucking it all this time. And so a breath of life, a big connection from Matty from the D. He hooks up with Soup. He hooks up with Soup for 49 big yards. And so out of timeouts, they have to rush to the line and spike the ball to stop the clock. And they do this a couple of more times. They get it down to a 4th and 1. And who is the real Brett Maher comes on. Kicked the field goal, which was, that was some sign of a heartbeat that in those 43 seconds, the Rams were able to muster up 3 points. And so now it is halftime. And it is 9-6 Arizona. And this is shades of Cincinnati with the field goal. And so the first half numbers tell it all. Arizona, 11 first downs. LA, 4. Arizona has 21 minutes. Time of possession to LA, 9. And so, I mean, to open up the third quarter, McGenius runs for only the 4th time all day. And K. Will breaks off 16. And then a second run. And K. Will for another 7. And then a third straight run. And now I'm like, whoa, hey, what's going on here? And then K. Will again. A 4th straight run fourth in a row. First down, LA. LA is picking up chunk yards on the ground. And now Ronnie Rivers is in, and he gets the ball handed to him for 7 more. A 5th straight run. And I'm like, uh-oh, wait a minute now. What's happening here with McWonder? 2nd and 4. A 6th straight run. OMG. Did they put my video on at halftime? That's what I'm wondering. Did somebody get in my video at halftime? What in the hell is going on here? And then K. Will again on 3rd and 1. And the TV announcer even says, has McGenius ever run this many times in a row? It's 7 consecutive runs in a row. And I'm laughing out loud, and I'm delighted, and I'm standing up by the TV going, something big is happening here. That's 8 in a row, but I mean, it was stuff for a 1 yard loss, and so it's 2nd and 11, and you know, hey man, he's running 8 in a row. He got stuff for a loss, and it's 2nd and 11. I mean, there's no way the man is not throwing this time, right? Well, actually, that is right. He was throwing, but there was nothing there. The secondary blanketed the receivers. Matty takes off, runs, scrambles, and so it is recorded as a run play. The 9th straight run. Even if that one wasn't by design, 9 straight runs. And my heart is palpitating and fluttering. And I'm like, is this our McGenius? 9 straight runs. Ladies and gentlemen, and there you have a trivia question that will stump anybody who did not see this game. How many consecutive runs has Coach McGenius ever dialed up? And you're going to win a bar bet with that one, because nobody will ever say 9. I believe the highest he had ever reached was 5, and that was probably in a blowout to eat up the clock. 9 straight runs by McGenius. What got into him at halftime? What happened? And in the postgame, I found it amusing that the press was amazed by this, because they know this man's out of balance, but they apparently have marching orders. They must have been informed. Do you tiptoe around McGenius? Don't you challenge him? Don't you hold his tootsies to the fire? You let him be. He's our little boy wonder, and he won us a championship. And so they know he's out of balance, but they don't challenge him. But when they saw that in the postgame, they couldn't believe it. They were trying to figure out who got to Coach McGenius. And so, what you see, my folks, is a tale of 2 halves. And just like that, he flipped the switch. And just like that, he ran the ball in the second half. And in the interest of time, I'm not going to go through each and every possession in the second half. But all I will tell you is that drive, 9 runs, and then the 10th play, 3rd and 8, a dart, Matty from the D, touchdown, Super Cup, touchdown, LA. What a drive. And for the first time today, LA leads the game. They lead 13-9. And here's the reality, my folks. They would not trail again on this day. In fact, the Rams defense would pitch a shutout. The Cardinals would not score another point and cruise to victory behind that abrupt, sudden, unexpected, shocking switch, that flip of the switch to change from almost exclusive pass to almost exclusive run. And so in the end, in the final analysis, it looks as though there's balance. But the coach found his way to balance in the most unpoetic, inartful way. He stumbled, he ham-fisted himself into balanced final numbers on the stat sheet. And so, yes, we want balance, but Mr. McWonder, we don't want exclusively pass in one half and exclusively run in the other. We want to blend pass and run, keep the defense off balance. That is how you will win. But what a drive. And I'm thinking, can you hear me now, my folks? You see? Don't you see all that I've been saying for so long? You see right there, that's the evidence. I was right. I was right all along, damn it. And so I'm thinking, Jonathan Gannon, coach of the Cardinals, he's probably got steam coming out of his ears. He's probably having a short circuit because it's not in the book for Mr. McWonder to do this. This is not in the book to flip the script, to go exclusively run, 9 straight runs. He probably right after the game called Father Shanahan and said, "Father, it's not in your book. What do I do?" And Father probably said, "It's not in the book because he's never done it before." There is no answer. If McGenius employs the power run game, the Rams can beat just about anybody. Mr. McWonder, you can beat just about anybody. Matty from the D, Sharp over the top, Soup, Puka. Then, for example, the last touchdown of the game, the Rams. 1st and goal from the 9, but unlike in Cincinnati and unlike in the first half, McGenius hands the ball off to K. Will for 4. And then 2nd and goal, he hands the ball off to K. Will again, and he bounces it to the outside and dives for the pylon. Touchdown, LA, touchdown, K. Will, touchdown, Rams. Game is in the bank. And K. Will is showing that versatility. He's showing power running. He's getting yards after contact. He's showing speed, elusivity. He's able to bounce it outside. He's able to extend athletically and sniff out the end zone. Complete running back performance by K. Will. And so it is, in fact, a tale of two halves. It was the worst of times. It was the best of times, Mr. McWonder. And so, the only real question now is, do you get it now, Coach? Do you? Do you get it now? Is it locked in? Do you have it? Or you gonna backslide? Or you gonna Motown slide the next game against Pittsburgh? Because Pittsburgh is beatable. And you run the ball down their throats, you'll send them packing. But you try to chuck it all over the yard, and you invite in the poltergeist, and you're going to end up taking another L. So what do you want, sir? Dubs or L's? You see the beautiful recipe. You see the formula. All you got to do is follow it. I'm afraid I'll have to bet on the backslide. The Motown slide for McWonder, because I've seen this pattern repeat itself time after time after time in the past. But for now, K. Will finishes the game with a career high 158 yards. Los Angeles ends up with the most rushing yards in the second half of a game since 1996. That's before the greatest show on turf. If you keep running the ball, you keep putting them body blows on the defense. Your defense, meanwhile, gets to rest. You keep your quarterback clean, punishment free. You keep him from being mollywopped and grazing on turf. And you restrain the malevolent spirit. You contain and restrain the poltergeist. All of these things you accomplish by simply employing balance. You bolster the morale of your offensive line. Instead of putting them on skates and moonwalking who's bad, you give them the authority to be aggressive, power off the line of scrimmage, charge forward. You allow the line to dominate and impose its will on the defense. And then your running back can be an actual running back instead of a pass blocking, route running hybrid. And when you do these things, sir, then behold the power of balance. So LA wins the game 26-9. LA runs the ball for 174 yards in the second half, most in any game in the McVay era. Most this millennium from any Rams offense. And as I say, the final numbers tell it all. And we'll get there. But quickly, let me just get into the post game. Post game. Well, let's start with game balls. Game balls. Kyren Williams. Career day on the ground. We've covered the numbers. Dominant, powerful, speedy, elusive. We saw it all. What you want in a feature back. The only concern I have at this moment in time is that he did apparently injure his ankle. He has had some ankle injury concerns in the past, and he is expected, as of this recording, to be unavailable for the Pittsburgh game on Sunday coming up. So I say to that, damn, because, Coach McWonder, he's easily triggered. He has conniptions, and so if he knows that Kyren Williams is not available as his tailback, then that might be the excuse he needs to go past Happiest and chuck it all around the yard all day and lose the game to them Steelers. And so I, Mr. McWonder, recommend strongly that you trust Ronnie Rivers. He seems to be a capable backup. Give him the ball. Follow the 25-20 principle as you did ham-fistedly with the Cardinals. Follow that against the Steelers and win that game. Now, game balls. Kyren Williams, game balls to the O-line. The offensive line, they got a chance to exert themselves, to exert their dominance, their will, and they look good doing it. And so Rob Havenstein would say in the postgame, when the media could not believe what they had just witnessed, they kept trying to figure out who cajoled, who convinced Coach McWonder to run the ball so committedly, so determined, so tenaciously. And they all said the same thing. Oh, it was Sean's idea. Nobody mentioned that he had been given an episode of Scotty Says past few days. No one mentioned that. Still possible, though. And so Havenstein told the media, yes, it was Sean's idea. And he said, I quote, Sean stuck to it. You love this as an offensive line, Havenstein said. Quote, imposing your will on the defense. It's an O-lineman's dream, Havenstein said. Quote, we are going to run the ball and stay after it. Sound familiar? Did you check out my last episode last week? Offensive line talk? Sound familiar? It's an offensive lineman's dream, he said, to exert dominance, will in the run game. AD99, when asked about it, said, oh, it was great. It was great. It gave us a lot of juice. We were on the sidelines, pumped up, watching it. It was so much fun to watch. Are you listening, McWonder? I just told you guys all this in my last episode, my folks. I spent a good amount of time on all of this now. Puka said in the post game, it was just dominance. It was exciting. It was a great feeling. Big Rob Havenstein had his hand motioning to keep going, keep it rolling. It's a great feeling when you get to run the ball and just dominate. That's from Puka, the rookie, out of the mouths of babes. Soup, dun-ta-da. Soup said, when you get that kind of thing going, talking about the run game, when you get that kind of thing going, control the ball like that, why, that opens up the passing game, Soup said. Those guys up front, he continued, and the running backs, they really got us going. They moved the ball really well. Everyone unanimously concurred that it was McGenius who came up with the adjustment at halftime. And finally, K. Will. K. Will, in the post-game press conference, said it was so much fun. All the linemen were hyped up, coming back to the huddle, pumped up. It was so fun. Yes, it was, K. Will. Yes, it was. You listening, McG? Can you hear me now? All right, very, very quickly. Now let's wrap it up. Home stretch. Let's get to the numbers. And here it is, my folks. I've been beseeching Mr. McWonder to employ the 25-20 principle. What happened in the game? Let's go to the stat sheet. Matthew Stafford, Matty from the D, was 15 out of 24. Somebody holla hallelujah. Holla hallelujah. 24. He capped the pass attempts at 24. That is what the 25-20 principle calls for precisely. A maximum of 25 passes. McWonder had 24. No poltergeist strikes. Can you hear me now? We know he had 24 pass attempts. What about the run game? Well, Kyron Williams, just him alone. K. Will, 20 carries. Chef's kiss. Oui. Yeah, man. Yes, indeed. This is what I've been talking about. Kyron Williams, 20 carries, 158 yards, a whopping 7.9 yards per carry average. Every time he touched the ball, he's carrying it 8 yards. And a touchdown. A fantastic game. A magnificent game. Also, Zach Evans got 4 carries for 10 yards. Ronnie Rivers, 3 carries for 9 yards. And so a total of 28 carries for 179 yards. There it is, my folks. 20 carries minimum. There were 28. 25 passes maximum. There were 24. Mr. McWonder, you nailed the 25-20 principle. You did it. Woo-hoo-hoo, you did it, sir. You did it. And what did I tell you? I promised you that if you follow the principle, the 25-20 principle, you will win. I told you that. And what happened? Now, if you follow the 25-20 principle against Steelers, against Pittsburgh, you're going to win that too. And then you can go on a run, sir. Because looking down the schedule, it's starting to look positive. After Pittsburgh, then you got them damn Cowboys. And they're beatable. I'm telling you, I don't believe in them fraudulent Cowboys, not one little bit. You can beat them. And then it's Green Bay. And of course, that game is winnable. And then you get to the bye. And on the other side of the bye, you have some division games. You've got Seattle and the Birds again. And then you got like the Giants and Washington. Listen, when I look down the schedule, if you just employ balance, I could easily see you posting an 11-6 record and marching into the playoffs and being a dangerous threat to whoever you draw. Just follow the principle. Stay balanced. Stay disciplined. Keep stacking dubs. And thank me later. And so, game balls to Raheem Morris in that defense. And yes, I'm going to give a game ball to Coach McGenius himself. Yes. Well, with a contingency. It's a contingent game ball. The game ball is contingent upon future game plans. And so this game ball can and will be rescinded if you Motown backslide. If you go right back to chucking it all over the yard, getting wildly out of balance, I'm going to pluck this game ball right back from you like they took Reggie Bush's Heisman. Okay, I'm going to pluck it away. So that is where we are right now, my folks. And as you can see, this has been a chock-filled episode. I hope you have enjoyed it. And what I need you to do right now, what I need from you right now is to throw me one of these. See them? Throw me one. These don't cost you any change. Please like the video. Please subscribe. If you haven't already, leave me a message. Let me know what you're thinking. And until the next time, which won't be too long from this time, because I will see you on the other side of the Steeler game. And so until then, my friends, Scotty says, one love.